We remember Elizabeth Taylor, who died today at 79, and we're lucky we can call on a colleague of ours who knew Elizabeth Taylor both as a subject and a friend. Barbara Walters is here with us. And Barbara, you interviewed Elizabeth 5 times. The reaction to her death today is really breathtaking out there on TV news, all the way to Twitter, countless conversations among friends. It's really touched something deep in the country, across the generations, too. Why? What was it about her that captured our imagination and held it for so long?
Well, Terry, I did interview her 5 times, as you say, but I also considered Elizabeth Taylor a friend, and many people don't realize this, but she had 4 children, 10 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren, and she loved them dearly. So I would like to say that my heart and my sympathies go out to her family tonight. But to your question, everything she did was larger than life. She was the most beautiful child star. She was the most exquisite adult leading lady. Her career spanned 50 movies, 2 Oscars, 8 marriages, 2 to the same man, scandalous headlines, and courageous activism. She lived her life her way, and Terry, she didn't give a damn what anybody else thought about it. There are some people for whom even the word superstar seems too small. Elizabeth Taylor is not just Hollywood history, she is American history. But unlike most movie legends, her films, though remarkable, are not at the center of this Elizabethan tale. Her life has always had a better storyline. She once told me that she barely remembered a time when she wasn't famous. Pushed by her mother, her big break came with a starring role in National Velvet at the tender age of 12.
I went to school on the studio lot, and you didn't have any peers. It was only later that I thought, wow, I really haven't had any preparation for the outside world.
And she was right. She wasn't prepared for the attention she received, for her striking looks, those violet eyes, one of the few child actors so exquisite that she could seamlessly transition to adult roles. While filming Father of the Bride in 1950, the then 18-year-old Elizabeth announced her engagement to Nicky Hilton, the 23-year-old heir to the Hilton fortune. He would be the first of 7 husbands. You were 18.
I was a virgin, and it was all very exciting. So 2 weeks after our marriage, when he started drinking, I had no idea that that person existed. And that's when the reality of the world hit me, and the reality that I was not an adult, and I had to really grow up fast.
Abusive?
Oh, God, yes. I was a bit of a punching bag.
That marriage ended in divorce. Seeking love, she thought she had found refuge in her second marriage to the much older British actor Michael Wilding, but it also ended in divorce. In 1957, she made the film Raintree County, a happy period when she met and fell in love with her third husband, producer Michael Todd. But it was fated to be a short marriage with a tragic ending when his plane, heading to New York, crashed.
It was strange. He said goodbye to me 5 times. And we clung to each other. And it was the first time we'd ever been separated in my 13 years of marriage. 13 months.
Isn't it funny that you say 13 years?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been wonderful if it could have been 13?
It sure would.
When Elizabeth flew to Chicago for the funeral, she was accompanied by her late husband's best friend, the singer Eddie Fisher, whose wife, Debbie Reynolds, stayed behind in Los Angeles. Scandal erupted when Fisher divorced the beloved Reynolds and tied the knot with Taylor. Taylor was called a homewrecker and reportedly hated her next role in the film Butterfield 8, where she played a woman who breaks up a marriage. Still, she won her first Oscar for it.
I guess all I can do is say thank you. Thank you with all my heart.
In the midst of it all, a phone call that led to the most celebrated role of her life, Cleopatra. It was a groundbreaking performance and a groundbreaking paycheck for Taylor. They said, would you do Cleopatra, Elizabeth?
I said, yeah, for $1 million and 10% of the gross.
Your own authority and power, otherwise inevitably in time we will lose everything.
In Cleopatra, Mark Antony was played by the then-married classical actor Richard Burton.
I want to be free of you, of wanting you.
Off-screen, the two fell madly in love and scandalously lived together before either of them were divorced. Both the Catholic Church and the U.S. Congress condemned them for living in sin, but she and Burton obtained divorces, and their marriage was later called the romance of the century. They were married for 10 headline-grabbing years and starred in 11 films together. Their lovers' quarrels on screen and off were legendary.
I will marry you.
I'd rather die!
Still, Burton showered his wife with spectacular jewels, including the famous 33-carat Krupp diamond. She showed me her jewelry in 2002.
He said, I'm going to get you that ring. Would you like to try?
I would love to try it.
Get it in the light?
Well, thanks a lot, Elizabeth. The interview's over. We'll just all go home. But no amount of jewelry would keep her marriage to Burton stable. The two divorced, only to marry again, but that didn't last either.
It was almost like everything was too much. We loved each other almost too much. It sounds silly.
No, it doesn't.
But it was so intense that it was almost abnormal.
Was he the love of your life?
Mike and Richard were the loves of my life.
What?
In 1966, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf was considered one of her most challenging performances. Her portrayal of a miserable, drunken wife earned her her second Academy Award for Best Actress. But even so, at the age of 34, her acting career started to fade, but not her ability to make headlines. Weight gains and losses, addictions, more marriages, and special friends.